into my other screen here. And now if I go into weapons, I can bring this in. And if I go to reference, I can bring in this image, which I'm going to go like that, and turn to multiply, because that allows me to see everything, and things like that. And you can kind of see as a reference what I'm doing is I'm just kind of lining it up as best as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect, because if I make this invisible, you can see there's actually a margin around there, and so to know exactly where this is, I'm going to go UV, export UV layout, and it'll export it, and now I can just actually bring it right in, which will allow me to see exactly where this guy needs to be. And so for a reference, I'm going to bring that guy down to the corner there. We can look up top and see what we're missing, and down here and things like that. So I think this needs to be a bit stretched a little bit. This way a little bit. Just like that, and it doesn't have to be perfect. But I do like to get it as close as I can so that I can make a decent texture. And if you don't like my method of texturing, there's other ways to do it. But this way, this is what I call my lazy method. You don't actually have to make your own textures or anything like that. You can just bring it in, and it'll look decent. And especially if you're using a first-person thing and it's a gun you're going to be seeing often, you want to make it look like it's actually a real gun. So what I can do is I can go to clone stamp tool on this layer here, start cloning it down all the way. You want that margin line to be covered well. And this is where the clone stamp is going to be your best friend, because you don't actually have to make real textures. I'm also going to grab the handle, or the slide of this Glock, and just delete it, which allows us to even see this a little bit better. And you can see we're pretty much on target. Though with this area here, we want to make sure it's pretty near perfect. Because that's the back of the gun, keep in mind. And this is where the player is going to see a lot of the time, because it's right near the camera. Another thing you can do is select an area, go copy and paste, and paste it, paste it, and paste it. And I guess we can select it to normal, and we just want to get a normal paintbrush going. Just so that looks okay. And now, just as a test, if I go File, Save for Web, Save, I'm going to save this as texture, we can see, if I apply it, call this Glock handle. We can go to image or movie, open, textures, weapons, Glock handle texture. I'm going to add a lamp. That's going to be a sun. All the way up here. We can go into textured mode. And on this guy right here, did I add a texture? There we go. We can open it up and go generate to UV. And you can see let's actually add a hemi, because hemis don't have shadows or anything like that. You can see that looks pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually open up this image, okay, right there, and I'm going to actually do something, because what I forgot to do was I forgot to make it this area unwrapped. I forgot to unwrap this. Okay. So if we unwrap, did I grab those two? No, I didn't. If we unwrap that, and we open up our texture, we can rotate that 90, scale it, and because we're not going to see this part often, I'm just going to actually put it right in there. And that's like a cheap, lazy way of doing it. But if you unhide everything, you don't actually see that, okay? You'll see it for a brief moment when it goes like that, but not long enough to see to actually like notice the detail. Okay, cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto YouTube, or to Google here, and go Glock front view, Glock back view. And you can't see this, but I am searching it up. I'm just looking for pictures of the front and back of the Glock. If you cannot find anything, that's okay, like I can't. You can actually use your modeling reference also as this, which I actually think is what I might do, because I almost like the look of this Glock better. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer, hide one of them, and grab this one here. Oops. Duplicate this layer, hide one of them. And I'm actually going to, sorry for wasting your guys' time, but what I'm actually going to do is make this one there we go, now we can do it. I'm going to make this one the model, because this is the one, after all, that I based it off of. And so it's better to do this. If you have like an image that you like better that you want to use for reference, be my guest, you guys. I'm not picky about it, and obviously it's your game that you're going to be making. So honestly, do what you think looks best. But you know, this is some different ways you can texture it if you really want to, you know what I mean? So this doesn't quite look as good as the other one, this little area here. So I might actually just keep this one as that one, and then use the other one for my front and back. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to select everything. Let's try that to 10, because that's a little too much for me right now. Yeah, that's better. Go like that. Gonna grab this one here and go XV. XV. Delete that layer. Hide that one. That is the back of the gun, which I believe is this piece here. So we can go like this. Yeah, that is. Okay, so keep in mind this is halved, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Go like that. And now if I delete or get rid of that, and I can go like this, go back to this one and delete that stuff that's not in there. We can also delete that stuff right there. That looks pretty good. Grab this and this one and scale this up as well. Turn this back on. To keep in mind that that is only half of it. Let's line it up like that. And that looks good. Okay, so now we can delete that. Now we can go File, Save for Web, Save as Texture, replace that. Now if we go into here with the texture, we can reload that. And that actually looks really good. I was expecting that to look not as good, but I think at least that looks really good. So you can see there's a couple places where you don't have textures, and if we hit edit on this, this and this, if we open our texture file, there's a couple places that the textures have kind of missed. And that means we can just take our file here and move it over slightly. Let's actually just grab everything. And, you know, just moving it over a little bit can help with those fuzzy edges. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? So that is looking pretty decent. Alright. Let's try and avoid that little corner right there if we can. So let's grab this one here. And I'm not sure what that's from. I think that's supposed to be there. But I don't actually like the look of it, so I'm going to change it. That's the nice thing about this method too. It doesn't have to be exactly the way there's in the image. So we can go like this. Go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to change the intensity just to a bit of a darker gray so it doesn't look as blinding, because I mean in real life a dark gray wouldn't have that much reflectivity to it. And now what we can do is add some normal to this. So I'm going to add it to -0.2. And you can see those almost look like they're protruding, and it just adds a bit of detail to the gun. So now what I'm going to do is duplicate this object, and this first one is going to be called Glock Handle. Second one's going to be called Glock Handle High Hull. And what we can do with this one is, first off, you can see there is a divot that happens in this thing right here. Right about here, there's a divot, so we can extrude it inwards and scale it. We can grab our other one and hide it. Okay, so we can do that. That looks okay. We can do other things like like doing these little protrusions on the back. So we can like grab a couple of those. We can go to the back view here and grab the face select, go to texture mode, and if we just grab a couple of these. And obviously it doesn't have to be perfect. You're not actually going to be able to see this very well. But when you do, because it's behind your hand, obviously. But when you do see it, you know, while reloading or for whatever reason, it's just going to add a nice little bit of detail. Okay, so now we can get out of that. Yeah, that looks not bad, doesn't it? That's a little rough. Okay. So now what we can do with that is, now that looks decent, we can go high poly and shift and select the low poly. So high poly, low poly. Go down to here and we'll bake a normal, and we'll create a new image, and we'll call this block handle normal. What we can do is bake the normals, and we're going to go selected to active and bake that, and you can see that adds some nice levels of detail. Not only is it baking the stuff we made, it's also baking the actual textures. So if we actually just select the regular one and we hide this other one, even if we bake that, it's going to add some basic textures, and that's what's great about Blender. So I'm going to save a copy of this and go and call this normal. And we now can delete our high poly object. Let's save this, because we don't actually need that. And if we go to texture mode, we can add a new thingy here, and we'll call this block handle normal. Go image or movie, open textures, weapons, open this normal map here, and immediately if we generate to UV, it's going to look pretty good already. And let's turn off the normal for this one so it doesn't interfere. And now, if we go to normal for this, immediately it's adding some bumpiness. We can turn the color off and make sure it's set to normal map so that it doesn't look as sharp. Now, let's see what this looks like with and without. It's not a very noticeable difference, and you can't really tell from the side view or straight on looking at it, but it almost looks, even without this texture, it looks like it's actually bumpy and things like that, even though it's not. It just makes it look that way. So that's actually a really neat way you can kind of cheat that effect. Like, we've created all these bumps and everything like that. We haven't actually done that much work, but it looks like all these things are actually engraved and actually extruding. And just like that, we have a decent looking gun handle. And now we can finish off the rest of this gun. So this guy here is just going to be a basic black, and we'll call this Glock barrel, and we'll call this black. And this is just going to be not a black, because there's no such thing as a true black in life. It's just going to be a really, really dark gray with a similar, whatchamacallit. Okay. And we can grab this now. We can go, and this one can actually go apply this, because if we actually press play right now, it's going to look weird. And we want to turn back face culling off for that, so that looks normal now. Turn back face culling off for that, that looks normal now. And now we can apply this mirror and go origin to geometry. Go to this, origin to geometry. Now we go to this one and unwrap it. Okay, but I'm going to go from here and go with this, whatchamacallits here, the edge or face select, sorry, and select all this. And that's going to include, what can I not get from here? Okay, there we go. That's going to include, oops, these things here. Okay, and I'm going to go project from view, like so. And just go like this, and go front view, or sorry, I guess back view. Go project from view, and go to the front. we can actually get rid of all this. We don't want that either. We just want this. I'm not sure which part of this is. There we go. Now we can go to front view and go project from view. Let's try that again. There we go. Go top and I guess we'll go like that. And let's see what we can get rid of. We can get rid of those. Get rid of those. There we go. Okay, so now we can go project from view. Now if we select all this, this is going to be the bottom, so we can just scale that. And we can actually get rid of that. Do that right now. Sorry. We can grab that and scale it right there. Grab that and scale it right there. I'm not sure what that part is. Whatever it is. Oh, that's the top, I think. Okay, so let's scale that like so, to the same size as that. Grab these, scale them, and put them right there. Now we can go, again, we're going to go to here and bake the ambient occlusion. We're going to go new, and it's going to be called block slide AO. And bake this, and now we can go image, save a copy, and we'll call this block slide AO. Sorry, I apologize, but my voice is sort of hurting. I'm not quite sure why. Now we can go to UV, export UV layout, and it's going to replace our old one. And now what can happen is if we don't have to save that because we're probably not going to edit it anymore. We can bring in the slide and this, and now what we can do is we can go to our reference images and bring this image in. Okay, and the reason I'm bringing this image in is because I want it to be silver. How do you do that? Can you just double click that and it does it? No. Because we have to do that. So much work. Alright, now we can grab all these parts and delete them. And my goodness, I totally forgot to do that. I forgot to make sites for this bad boy. Which is something that's kind of important, because we're going to be using those. Okay, so now what we can do, we'll make them after. Is we can go Control T. I'm going to put that right under there. And we can just bring that to right around there. And we can turn this to, what modes does it have? Multiply looks okay. I like overlays, usually works for me. So overlay works. We can go like that. And it looks shiny, almost doing that. And for this part here, I'm just going to create a huge version of this here. Because that's the color it's going to be, is the same as the top. So we can actually just select that and delete anything else that's not in there. And delete these parts here. That looks pretty good. Let's actually move it down just a little. And I'm obviously taking shortcuts here. I would hope you do not do the same. I hope you would take the time to actually find the right images and all that shit, but unfortunately, I am very lazy. And this tutorial is only to give you the concept, not to actually show you step by, well, I am showing you step by step, but it's mainly to be a concept and not taken completely literally. It's more supposed to be, you watch this and then you go, oh, well, he did this way, maybe if I do this I can do it like that, which is how I learned, and that's, I think, in my opinion, the best way to learn. Okay, so now we can open this, we go back to textured, make a new one here, and this is going to be called block slide. We're going to go turn off this, new block slide, imagery movie, open textures, weapons, block slide T, generated to UV. That sheen looks pretty good. We can go normal. And we'll go 0.1 because I don't like it too strong. But those almost look like they're, oh no, never mind, those are, okay. Okay, so let's grab this and open that. Do you think that looks okay, you guys? I mean, personally, I think it does, but I want to see how it would look right here, and if that would look better. Yeah, I like it better like that. Okay, so let's go 0.1. And that looks pretty good, you guys. So now what we can do is we can select this guy here. We'll make a new image. Call this block slide normal. Bake the normals to this image. Save a copy. Call this normal. Save an image as. And we can apply this now. So let's go block slide normal. Image or movie, open textures, weapons, normal, generated to UV, normal, color off, sampling at normal map, and that is how it's done, you guys. So just like that, now we can go apply mirror, origin, geometry, and that looks pretty good. So now we want to shift, so grab this one and shift and select there, and keep transformation, grab this one and shift and do that as well. Okay, so now if we grab this one, we can rotate it around and everything follows it, okay? I am, however, going to make this on the textures. We never unwrapped that. Like that, so that when we do look around, so let's give it a full look around. Everything looks pretty good. Now, for a magazine, my magazine is going to be fairly simple. I'm going to go cube, grab it to right there, edit mode, grab that, grab that, grab that, grab that, and we will go front view, scale X, scale X, go right there, scale X, scale X, scale X, and there you go. So that's how that's done. And now we can extrude that, scale it on the x-axis to about there, because it's, well, let's actually go to there, and so it's about there. And now we can scale that on the y-axis. And grab that and put it to about We'll make it like right there. I think that's about where it would be. And now we can hide that and hide that. And that is going to be, again, the black. Now we can turn that to smooth shading, and that looks pretty good. So now if we Alt-H, we can parent this to that. So now if we go to texture mode, we can make this diffuse a little more like the gun. This diffuse a little more like the gun. So on solid mode it looks good, and on texture mode it looks awesome. So thank you all for watching this 1 hour and 10-minute tutorial, or I guess 1 hour and 11 seconds, I can't read, on making a gun. So this gun is going to be basically the level of detail that's going to go into our game. So if we play this, let's actually add an always rotate 1 on the z-axis. So if we play this now, you guys, this is going to look pretty decent. So that's the graphics level of our game. That's what the graphics are going to look like, okay? And if you ask me, that looks pretty good. Anyway, thank you all for watching this episode. Next episode, we will be creating the hands of our character and rigging them and getting into the basics of our character physics. And by the next, probably I would assume through episode 3, we'll have this gun shooting with a muzzle flash and a sound and everything. So thank you all for watching. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.